Thanks.
Okay. Make a start. I'll just go on the people on my screen. Kath, you're first on the screen. Would you like to read?
The personal self exists as the self you present to others. This is the only way in which the personal self will continue to exist following the completion and the integration of this course. Previously, the personal self that you presented to others represented an ego self, who you believe yourself to be. Now the ego has been separated from the personal self so that you may claim your personal self again and present to others a true representation of who you are, while still a represent.
Kath,
Yeah,
Kath,
yeah.
could you please slow down? Because there's no way I could follow this.
Oh no, sure. Sorry, I'll start
Just,
again.
yeah,
The
start
person,
again, like really, really relaxed way, because this is so loaded that we can't comprehend it in a speed. It actually can't be comprehended in speed.
the
Thank you,
per,
love.
the personal self exists as the self you present to others. This is the only way in which the personal self will continue to exist following the completion and the integration of this course. Previously, the personal self that you presented to others represented an ego self, who you believed yourself to be. Now the ego has been separated from the personal self so that you may claim your personal self again and present to others a true representation of who you are. While still a representation, there is a huge difference between a true representation and a false representation. The false representation of the ego as the self is what has led to the world you see. A true representation of the self that you are is what we work toward in this treatment and will lead to true vision and to a new world. Cole, we were wondering a couple of us were wondering what treatise means.
Treatise? They're just like, I don't know, a little like treats.
I think it's a bit like an essay.
A written work dealing formally and systematically with the subject. It says in the dictionary.
Could you say that again?
A written work dealing formally and systematically with the subject. More definitions. Oh, it is from the word treat. Old French.
Yeah.
See treat. Yes, that's interesting. Yeah.
I have another definition, the same, but says a treatise is formal and systematic written work that discusses a subject in great detail. It is usually comprehensive and aims to provide thorough analysis, explanation, or argument about a particular topic, often scholarly or scientific in nature.
That's great. That's a really good definition.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that from, Sam?
I got it from a dictionary. I don't know why I Googled it.
Beautiful.
That was a good thorough explanation. It was almost a treatise in itself.
Yeah. Can you copy it and put it into the things?
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
Oh, okay.
Is it easy to copy?
Yeah, I can copy and I'll post it here. So on my, oh, let's see, I can do this easy. Well, continue, give me a moment and I'll do it. I'll get on my phone.
Kim, I'm not sure when you just turned up that we're up to 1.4.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Kevin.
All right, I'll continue. A representation of the truth not only reveals the truth, but becomes the truth.
Mm.
A representation of what is not the truth reveals only illusion and becomes illusion. Thus, as your personal self becomes a representation of the truth, it will become who you are in truth.
Mm.
Mm.
Recording it.
What happened then? Okay. As with much of our previous work, the first step in advancing toward this goal is in developing an awareness of what is not the truth. While the ability to distinguish between the true and the untrue has been repeatedly discussed as the ability to separate fear from love, further guidelines are needed. You, who have spent most of your life representing the ego, have but given a face to illusion and made it seem real. When I say that you have represented the ego, what I mean is that the personal self, as represented by your body while adhering to the ego's thought system, became an ego self or an unreal self. An unreal self cannot help but exist in an unreal reality. It is as if you have been an actor upon a stage. The part you play as unreal as the setting on which you play it. Yet there is a you who has been playing the part, a part that, while developed under the ego's direction, still allowed for bits and pieces of who you are to be seen, felt, and acknowledged. Okay. Next on my list, two not readers. Anthony, can you read today?
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
So 1.7.
Yep.
The ego's thought system has been replaced by the thought system of unity, and you are left, perhaps, feeling unsure of the part you are now to play. There is not one of you who has not begun to experience the transformation that is, in truth, occurring, although you may not as yet have seen the changes you are experiencing as the transformation to which you have been called. These changes, perhaps, seem like little things. A change in attitude here, a change in behavior there. But I assure you that these changes are mighty and are but the result of the change in cause that has occurred through your learning of this course. I began this treatise by saying that the personal self exists as the self you present to others, and that this is the only way in which the personal self will now continue to exist. This statement implies and acknowledges your previous belief in a personal self who existed as more than a representation. While when joined with the truth, this representation will be acknowledged as what it is, and as the truth of who you are. To erroneously have seen your former representation of illusion as the truth of who you are is what has led to your perception of the world of suffering and strife that you have seen. I'll do one more. This change that is in the process of coming about has to do with awareness. When you become aware of the personal self as a representation, you become aware of the self whom the personal self is representing. To have believed that the personal self as a representation of the ego was who you were was an illusion that blocked awareness of your true self from your mind. Your true self is now ready to come out of the mist of illusion in which it was hidden, and to be represented in truth by the form you occupy and have previously seen as the reality of yourself. Cool.
Alison,
Okay. To say that the personal self will now exist only as the self you present to others is to say that the personal self will now cease to be seen as your reality. To say that the personal self has only existed as the self you presented to others in the past is quite a different statement and has a totally different meaning. The personal self you once presented to others as who you were was a self who existed in time, a self who believed that the past made up the self of the present, and that the self of the present made up the self of the future. The personal self you presented to others in the past was a chosen self, and never a whole self, as evidenced by the variety of selves you saw yourself to be. The personal self of the past was a self of roles, each one as learned as that which an actor might portray, each one as learned as that which an actor might portray. You saw nothing more amiss in being a professional self in one instance and a social self in another, a parent in one role and a friend in another, than you did in defining a past self, a present self, and a future self. The greatest distinction of all was that between the private self and the public self, as if who you were to yourself and who you presented yourself to be could be two completely different selves. Even within the illusion in which you existed, there was a self kept hidden. I am complete.
Thanks, Alison. Kim, you're next.
1.12. To become a whole self with no parts hidden, a self with no parts in truth, is the task that I'm set before you and am here to help you fulfill. I can do this because I accomplished this, both in life and in all time and time beyond time, making you, along with me, the accomplished. As has already been said, the accomplished self is the Christ. Your remembrance of the Christ self has abolished the ego self and allows us to begin the lessons of the personal self. We could not begin the curriculum here because you would have been unable, without the lessons of this course, to distinguish the personal self from the ego self. There is a danger even now in focusing upon the self of the body, as this self has been so long bound to the ego self. Even with the ego once and finally vanquished, the patterns of the ego's thought system remain to be undone. This is atonement. We work now to correct the errors of the past in the present, the only place where such work can be done. We work with what we have, a form fully able to represent the truth. And in so doing, we bring the truth to life and life to the truth.
Wow, so amazing,
Hi, Dennis. Dennis, we're up to chapter 2 in the Third Treatise, and it's called The Purpose of Representation.
Hi, Dennis. It's nice to have you here. I've been missing you.
Dennis.
You're on mute.
Says it is nice to be here. I really needed good-hearted company.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this fits from a line from the text that's stuck in my mind. The purpose of the atonement is to save the past in purified form. Yeah, I really like that.
I don't quite know how he says it in A Course in Miracles, but I do remember that he said something like everything real is saved in eternity and everything unreal is washed away.
Yes.
I don't quite know how he said it, but
yeah,
it always stuck with me.
Yeah, it's a similar
Yeah, it's like
thing.
every right. every real thought, every loving thought will remain forever.
Mm.
That's why the real awakening is they shift you into new perception of yourself or of reality, and it never changes. It's always there. Like you close your eyes and there it is, this kingdom within. You can't lose it. And it's all the loving thoughts will remain, and everything that wasn't real will just not be remain the same.
And you can't ruin it or muck it up. Yeah, you can't mess it up.
You can obscure it, or you can make yourself busy. You know, you can go into the world or watch something and just be completely somewhere else. But at the end of the day, when it comes to it, like I easily lose myself, and then I go, hang on a second, call, where the fuck are you? And next minute, like, oh shoot, where did I go? You see?
Oh.
And there it is. And then it's just forever nourishing, this inner warmth. It's just like deeply felt, and it's vibrational, like it reverberates everything. Yeah.
It used to help me a lot when I was out of when I was out of truth more than I was in truth. It used to help me a lot because I'd know, even if I'd only had one moment of, realization in the day, just one moment of feeling the truth, knowing the truth, that at least that was something accomplished in the day. So I gave myself a very hard time about not being there, but that actually did help.
Yes. It's always there. Actually, this whole kingdom, everything is there already. It's not like we are finding something. It's in us. We just got so busy thinking other thoughts that we can't see it. And particularly if your emotional body is shut down, you can't sense the truth. You can only sense it. It's not a sentence that's like, oh, now I know the truth. It's none of that. The voice for God is not even some kind of talking at all. It's being.
And we can only do it in the present.
Yeah, only in the present. It can't be like one day. That's the way to nowhere. And what you remember, this is another lovely course, a line from A Course in Miracles, like, what you remember never was.
What you remembers never was.
Yeah.
But the paradox But the paradox of it being in the present is that it heals the past. So that's sort of interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
It heals what?
Well, you can only do it in the present, but at the same time, it heals the past and probably the future as well. But yeah, interesting. It's paradoxical.
It really does come like what he's talking about is actually this radical honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being transparent, like being like not hiding anything.
Yeah.
So your true self is the one that you really have, like how is it really? That's the real question. Because here we can come and go like, hello, da da da, put our presentation face on. How is it really? Like, how are those thoughts that you would not share with anyone? And it's not that we need to share them, but we need to notice that we've got them hidden.
Mm.
And then just be there, be in that place where you hide, like I hide. And then you're revealing it. You don't have to go into detail. You just go into that place which you normally, that's your like true self. How is it really? Because, I thought you wake up to this amazing something, but you actually wake up to who you really are with all warts and all. Like suddenly you're okay that you are whatever way you are.
Mm.
Can you understand that? Like whatever. Like it's, it's all loses. It's like, I shouldn't be like this. No, you should, because you are already that. And when you allow it, when you allow yourself, the other day we were going through the 7 deadly sins. Guys, we could go into 7 deadly sins and you'd be in stitches. Yeah. Why? Because if you could allow yourself, we all have them. We all have pride. We all have believe we're gluttons in something. We're all lazy in some way, right? Anybody here lazy? Yeah. Anyone here guilty? Yeah. Anyone here unholy? Yeah. There's nothing to hide. Exactly. Exactly. And now look, you're smiling now. You're revealing your flaws, you know, and the light has come. You know, the joy has come through because you no longer need to protect this hidden self that you think you shouldn't show. Society taught us to be better. You got to work hard to be better. And so this perfection begin to go like, oh, I got to work hard on myself. And like, no, you don't.
Yeah, in other words, saying we're not good enough. Yeah.
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 It talked earlier about the mask we wear and the part we play in a play.
Yes.
Yeah. Take the mask off. It's like, hey, here I am. Guilty, sinful, all of it.
Yeah. All sound and fury signifying nothing.
Yeah. And so you actually become yourself, and you don't try to change yourself.
I mean, sometimes I don't want to be holy. I don't.
You what?
No.
I don't want to be holy.
No.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm
be
upset.
unholy. Go ahead. Go ahead, be unholy.
Well, I was a half hour ago.
Oh, we want to see it, Cat Dennis.
No, we don't.
No, you don't. Anyway, can you see that? It's like right there in the unholy, and we're all joyous. Because you are holy already. You are wholly doing everything. You are wholly lazy. You are wholly everything. We just have this, you know, like the we're eating from the tree of good and evil. Like, I should be this and I shouldn't be that.
Oh.
And that throws you out of paradise. That throws you out of your wholeness. Because you tell yourself you shouldn't be like that. God did not kick you out. You kick yourself out when you do that.
So
anyone here is sick in any way? Yeah. Yes. You know.
So we're actually unholy when we're hiding things from ourselves. That's when we're unholy.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you know, it's an interesting thing that babies really pick it up. Like if you're feeling really, really awful, but you're trying to make it all right, and baby's going to be screaming.
Yeah.
And if you actually are feeling awful and you just let yourself feel like that and have an acceptance of it, the baby settles down.
Yeah.
I noticed
So
that
like,
there
be
was
who you
a
are.
congruence.
Be who you are. It's actually that simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be who you are. Like, who are you right now? You know. I woke up tired as hell. I'm still tired. I'm so tired. I could just go back to bed.
How tired?
So fucking tired. I'm like, oh, hardly move, and I feel stiff, and I've got some kind of condition that makes me. I find hard to breathe in the nighttime. Makes me sleepless, you know, and I don't get a good sleep, and that's what's happening at the moment.
Do you need a window
You
open,
know?
Cole?
And I do, and it's like it's anyway, it's a condition that's happening at the moment. Anyway, let's go and breathe.
How can you
That,
be that, or what happens when you can't sleep? Can you be all right with that or not? What do
yeah, it's
you?
just being okay with it. I go like, okay, I can't sleep, so I'll just do something. I write some music or whatever. I play guitar or read something, and I sleep in the next day. You know, when it comes, I'll go and have a sleep. No big deal. It's like not making hell out of whatever's occurring. Like, how are you really? That's the question. Yeah, how are you really? And you don't have to say it. Just be how you are. Like, I'm this, whatever it is. And right there, you become kind of happy. If you don't condemn yourself for being in a state you are in, it's
Yeah.
always that self-condemnation that part of you says you shouldn't be like this.
There'd be so much brotherhood, wouldn't there, if everyone was truthful
Super real.
about who they were. There'd be so much. It'd be like a big party.
Well, it makes you vulnerable. The deeper you go, it just you need to learn how to be very vulnerable. Like it will make you emotional, it will make you insecure, it will make you feel less than, it will make you feel all these things we don't want to feel.
Mm.
And we hide them and we suppress them. But if you could allow yourself to be vulnerable and to be transparent and to be whatever it is, it's actually one of the traits, the features of God in A Course in Miracles. It says honesty. It's the second one after trust. And it basically says you never say anything that's not what you feel.
I'm feeling really disconnected today from everyone because I haven't been here for a while. I just feel like I'm a fucking imposter.
Isn't it beautiful what he says? Isn't that beautiful, guys? Isn't that beautiful? That's it.
Just
Look how
feel really.
beautiful the guy is. Yeah, that's beautiful. It puts a smile on your face. It brings up compassion, brings up the brotherhood, sisterhood. You know, there comes an embrace. Like, oh, brother, I'm with you because I see you. You know, we see you. Yeah. Samuel, do you want to say something?
Yeah. When we were just talking about this, just right now, I feel like just being in a body is just deceptive. You are not real, and you are so insecure in every form that you don't really present yourself the way. Well, you pretend. Like I said, I pretend, But I think even Jesus himself, when he came on the earth, it wasn't really him. Now he's real in spirit as the Father created him, not when he was walking on the earth. I mean, so how much truth am I? That's they can be if I'm in the body. I mean, in positive, like Anthony says, but
Yeah, beautiful. And you know what? The more you keep going this way, that's the way how you find the kingdom. Because underneath all of this, none of this is so.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can't, unless you experience a miracle, you can't get there. So the only thing you can do is to do this, like you become transparent. You just go like, hey, here I am, you know?
Or just go for
Kiss
the
the
atonement,
bride.
or just the reset to the atonement. That's it. The rest
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything.
Yes. True.
Just
Well,
like
it's
a
the
baby.
same as when you begin to see the wholeness in the other person. Like I said last time, you can see a person as whole or just an asshole. It's just only those two things are going. Only those two things are going on. How are we seeing everything, and how you see him? That's how you see yourself. Bang, you're on a cross. So we hold on to condemnations.
Tricia, you going to say something?
Well, Allison was talking about a baby being aware of where people are at. Maybe it's because they're who they are. They are themselves, therefore they see it all, understand it all. They haven't learned to pretend yet.
That's it. Exactly true.
Same with animals, yeah, with pets and everything.
Yes.
Oh.
Because when we were born, we didn't have all these freaking crazy thoughts. They came later. What did we have when we were born? We had feelings, we had emotions, we had movement, and we had sound. Did we have anything else besides diarrhea and vomiting?
Smell.
Yeah,
Sense of
smell.
smell.
Yeah.
We had the memory of oneness, of connection.
Yeah. Yeah, you felt shitty, you cried, you felt happy, you smiled, whatever was coming up. And then you say, hey, don't do this. Don't do this crying thing. And now we had to shut something down in ourselves.
Oh.
Mhm. Let's check how long is this next one.
Oh, it's not that long.
Not that long. Let's go for it, huh?
Hey, Cole, you're next.
Where are we?
Chapter 2. Who asked where we are?
Chapter 2.
No, but one
I'm
point.
sorry, guys. I sometimes jump into your words, but my internet is so choppy.
2.1, the purpose of representation.
Oh, no, but
The purpose
12, is it? Or
the purpose of representation, chapter 2.
oh, yeah, I know.
Didn't
but
we finish one?
did we finish the whole thing? Oh,
We did. We
Yeah,
did.
finish chapter 1.
What purpose would it seem to serve to have anything exist only as a representation? You might think of this in terms of original purpose. The original purpose of representation being to share the self in a new way. Expressions, I know, yummy, eh? Expressions you call art are desires to share the self in a new way. The expressions you call art are expressions of a self who observes and interacts in relationship. They are not expressions that remain contained to who you are or who you think yourself to be. They are not expressions of the self alone. They are not expressions of the self alone in terms you might consider autobiographical or biographical. They are not expressions of the self alone that you would consider the self in separation. They are other expressions of the self in union. Expression of the self sees, feels, and visions, imagines in relationship. It's the same as that my mind holds only what I think with God. It's exactly the same thing, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
What purpose has art? Well, art is but a representation of what the artist chooses to share. Few of us will call this representation useless or without value. Art is a representation, but it also becomes something in truth, something that has been named art. Art becomes something in truth by expanding awareness, or in other words, by making something known. This is what true relationship does, and is its purpose as well as what it is. Who is next there, Kev?
Pictures have moved around. Dennis, are you reading today?
Where are we? Paragraph 2?
You
Point
put
three.
3.
3?
2 points.
Yeah, let me turn the light on. Oh, Jesus. I hurt my back. I was in a car wreck.
Oh,
While we have said you chose the separation, it has not been said that this choice was the choice it has been made to seem. You chose to represent yourself in a new way, to express yourself in a new way, to share yourself in a new way. The choice to represent yourself, capital S, in form, was a choice for separation, but not because separation itself was desired, as you have assumed. This is the assumption you have accepted in as much the same way you have accepted your free will as that which allows you to be separate from and independent of God. Once this assumption was accepted, the duality of your existence became paramount, became the only means you saw of deciphering the world around you and your role within it. Separation, aloneness, independence, individuality, these became the purpose you assumed rather than the purpose you started out to achieve. That of a new way of expression in a form that would expand awareness through relationship of self and others. You chose a means of creation, as God chose a means of creation. That means of creation is separation, becoming separate. The observer as well as the observed, so as to extend creation through the relationship of the observer and the observed. Wow, I'm having difficulty observing that. I'm going to read that last 2 sentences. You chose a means of creation as God chose a means of creation. That means of creation is separation, becoming separate, the observer as well as the observed, so as to extend creation through relationship of the observer and the observed.
Dennis,
Yes.
Dennis, and all of you guys, there's one thing about this book. When we read it slowly, there's so much in there. It's so full. If you can't get it, just slow it down, because what happens, you got to feel what you say. And when you read fast, there is no way your feelings can follow. That's why you don't understand, because it makes no sense, sense. So just slow down. This is all about slowness, so it can hit you. And also sometimes when we finish the paragraph or a whole section, it's good to go into silence, because it's almost like it dawns on you. I don't know if you guys have that experience. Like sometimes we finish, there's nothing to say, and something begins to happen. You're like almost like you're taken by something. Let yourself be taken. That's how it works. We are taking into unity. We drop into unity. Once we learn how to be there, all the rest of the learning comes from unity. It doesn't come from a book or your mind. It comes from this connection to unity. So anything slower is better. This is not about a mind packed with information. This is about being taken to the truth. Da-da-da.
Well, I'll read one more paragraph.
Yeah.
While much time was spent within this course discussing the choice you but think you made, this discussion was necessary only in the same terms that made it necessary to thoroughly discuss the ego's thought system.
Mm-hmm.
What you believe about yourself is part of the foundation that has been built around this system. Now, along with the beliefs put forth in a treatise on unity, you are asked to accept a new belief regarding the choice we have called the separation, the choice you have deemed as sin.
Mm.
I'm complete.
You are.
Yeah.
Sam, when you're ready, you're next.
Number 5.
Yes.
While you have believed you are the self of the ego, you have believed in a need to both glorify the self and denigrate the self. These beliefs have shaped your dualistic view of the world and all that exists within you with it. For every glory, gift, or success you have achieved, you have believed in a corresponding cost that was, in essence, a cost that came at the expense of denigration of the self. You believe that for every gain there was also a loss. For you believe that every step in the advancement of your separate state was a step away from God and your real self. This belief was based in logic, but the logic of the illusion in which you believed you chose to separate from God out of defiance and a desire to be one with God no longer. This could not be further from the truth and is the cause of all your suffering. For contained within this belief was the belief that each successful step towards independence came a corresponding step away from God. As independence seems to be your purpose here, you could not keep yourself from attempts to advance in this direction. And yet, neither could you keep from punishing yourself for this advancement? We have all of the, we leave all of this behind now as we advance towards truth through returning to original purpose, eliminates. I'll read that again. We leave all of this behind now as we advance towards truth through returning to original purpose. Your return to your original purpose eliminates the concept of original sin and leaves you blameless. It is from this blameless or unaltered state that your personal self can begin to represent the truth, or for it leaves untruth or the ego behind. It is only this one unaltered self and who your brothers and sisters are as well. This is what is meant by oneness. This is what is meant by unity.
Mm.
And yet,
So beautiful.
the truth has many ways of being represented, as does illusion.
Mm.
Annie, you're next when you're ready. If you want to read today.
Sure. Just as artistic representation of illusion are sometimes called art, representations of the self of illusion have been called the self, without this being so.
Oh.
In each, however, is the self you believe is revealed. Thus, not all that is called art is art, and not all that you call self is divine self, even while both may represent the truth as you perceive of it. Representing the truth as you perceive it to be has been the righteous work of many who have caused great harm to others and the world. There is no truth to be found in illusion, and so no representations of perceived truth, no matter how intensely they have been championed. I'm just going to read that one again. There is no truth to be found in illusion, and so no representations of perceived truth, no matter how intensely they have been championed, have truly altered effect, for they have not altered cause. Ooh. Wow. There is no right or wrong in art, and there is no right or wrong, no good or bad in regards to the self, but only accurate or inaccurate representations of the truth. Inaccurate representations of the truth simply have no meaning, and no matter how much one might try to read meaning into the meaningless, it will not be found there. The meaningless has no ability to change the meaning of truth. Ooh. And so your divine self has remained unaltered, as has all to which you have assigned inaccurate meaning. I'm going to read one more because it looks good. Thus, you stand at the beginning with the divine self now devoid of the meaningless you but attempted to assign it. You stand empty of untruth and about to embark on the journey of truth. You stand in the transformational moment between the unreal and the real. All you await is an idea, a remembrance of the original idea about your personal self. Ooh, I'm complete. That just gave me chills.
Yeah, beautiful.
What's it sort of saying, Cole?
Pardon?
What is it sort of saying? What is it saying about art? And I'm not sure what it's saying.
Well, how does it feel?
Well, I feel shitty today, but
Yeah. Can you allow that?
no, not really.
Do you allow it? Yeah. So you're fighting against the shittiness. If something's arising and you go, no, I will not accept you in my reality. Thank you. So you're at war with yourself there. And so none of this gonna make sense because you already got something happening. And on top of it, you're trying to comprehend something mega. Yeah.
The big concepts.
So yeah, they're really big, and like the speed is a real important thing in here, because sometimes if you miss one paragraph from then on, you might not catch up with yourself.
What are they saying about art? Is it like art as in when we do art, or?
Yeah, it is a representation, like when we're trying to express something, you know? It is an attempt to wholeness. And we're trying to making feelings visible, like when we do this transparency, that's an art. I've wrote the whole thing called The Art of True Response. Like, how do we truly respond? Like, you know, it was beautiful how you said, I'm feeling shitty today. Could you allow that? Just allow yourself for a moment to feel shitty, artfully. So you can make an art from it. Like art of being shitty. I could write a book on that. Maybe you could write, we could co-author it, you know?
We could call it the fecal formula.
Yeah. And just see if you can just allow yourself to be shitty. I mean, it looks like I'm not answering your question, but it's just like allow yourself to be that. Because if you go against your shittiness that's arising, you're stopping it, and that locks in you. But just let it come through. The course of love teaches teaches it pass through. Let the shitty pass through. Don't store it. Don't nail it in yourself. Let it pass through. Like be shitty, like express shitty artfully. How would you do that?
Make a sound like, oh.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh.
Oh, oh,
Oh.
oh, oh. That's it. Beautiful. Look, and already people are smiling, you see, because you're like showing what you are right now. In this moment, you feel shitty, or at least you think you feel shitty, you know? Maybe it's something else altogether, but let's say it's shitty. So allow yourself to be shitty. Just say, yes, I'm going to feel shitty now, even so I don't want to. Yeah. And let it pass through you. Don't try to stop it. It's the stopping of it that nails it in to the cross, that nails you to the cross. Yeah.
Yeah, it's lifted a bit.
Allow shit. Yeah, shifts a bit, doesn't it? Because it's the non-acceptance. If you have non-acceptance, you can't evolve anything. So it stays the same. But we are so conditioned to not accept things like this, that the shittiness never receives any love from you. It only receives condemnation.
Oh.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
That applies to any conditions. Yeah, we condemn ourselves. That's like daggers into our own heart. And now we can't move. Now you sit there for days until something gets you out of it. When I feel somehow really locked down and I can't really move it, I actually use this thing from Course in Miracles. It says, I must have decided wrongly.
I do not like how I feel. I must have decided wrongly.
Yes. Yeah. And there you condemn yourself, you know?
Right.
Once you become flowing, you read this again and you go like, oh shit, this is hot. This is really good. Yeah.
Yeah, when we learn to accept all those things,
Mm-hmm.
we wouldn't be unhappy.
Yeah.
You couldn't be unhappy. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're wholesomely shitty. Wholesomely. Is that a word?
Yes.
Wholeheartedly one thing. I'm not good today. Hello.
Or withhold.
Yeah.
Mm.
Find that
Yeah.
interesting, Cole, how we put ourselves on the cross
Mm.
by that block.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. It can be myself I crucify, only myself. Even when you attack a brother or sister, where is that attack? It's in you, and it nails you. Those are the attack thoughts that we're trying to recognize, so we stop doing that. Yeah, lesson 23 in a course says it so beautifully, you know. How do you heal yourself from the world? By stopping the attack thoughts. And how many times do you attack? Oh God, I should have done this better. Oh my God, I forgot to buy the butter again. Oh my God, this can be going all day. Oh shit, it's bad weather again. Oh no, God, it's raining again. Those are all attacks. It's subtle. They still attack. There is no big or small attack. Attack is an attack. And all attack is upon the self.
Mm-hmm.
And then in lesson 46, Jesus says something amazing. He says, God does not forgive because God does not condemn.
Mm-hmm.
And if there is condemnation has to be first, the forgiveness is the effect. Condemnation is the cause. you condemn yourself. Once you condemn yourself, then has to be forgiveness. But if you catch not condemning yourself, not going like, oh, I'm shitty today, and you condemn it.
But
You're just shitty.
Yeah, but I even condemn the opposite, like feeling good. Like I know I was at the dentist yesterday, and it was a different dentist, and he asked me how I was, and I said, oh, something like, oh, I'm excellent. And then I quickly had to downgrade it because it felt too.
Oh my God.
I quickly downgraded to said, oh yeah, I'm good. Like, oh, because I
Well,
had a
let me bring
judgment
something
against
up.
being excellent,
Yes, yes, bravo,
good.
This is exactly the subject we were doing yesterday in my private group. We went like, we are some of all things. We're good,
Yeah.
we're bad, we're ugly, and we're magnificent.
Yeah.
And then everybody in the group said like, ooh, magnificent. I can't do that. You can do bad and you can do ugly, but you can't do magnificent. So try it. Say, I am magnificent. Say it. Say it and see what happens.
I am magnificent. Yes.
And how much resistance come? Yeah, right?
Like that feels phony, that feels like I'm an imposter, but it's not.
Right.
It's not really.
No.
Because that's what we are in truth. Yeah.
We are in truth. Whereas
Yeah.
God created, we're like these magnificent beings, right?
Yes.
But declare it. Declare it. Let's do it. Who else wants to declare it? Say, I'm magnificent. Who is
I'm
next?
magnificent.
Say, yeah. Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you
Yes.
are. And feel that. Feel that. Because, we're going, oh, no, good. I can feel the magnificence.
Yeah.
Hey, Kath, you want to give it a go? I am magnificent.
I am magnificent.
Look at her, right?
Yeah.
You just had a change of mind. I am magnificent. And allow yourself to be magnificent. This is not a statement of arrogance or pride. It's not. Who you truly are. We're just living in a world where we said, like, no. You can't be that. You're everything else but that. And now we're saying, no. I'm magnificent. Keep saying that. Make it a mantra of a day. I am magnificent, and watch the reactions and just bless them.
Mm.
Who else? Samuel. Samuel,
Sorry.
do you wanna have a go? Samuel, can you hear us? Sam?
You're on mute. You're on mute, Sam.
Yeah, on mute. Look at his face, right?
Doesn't allow me to.
Didn't allow you to.
I am magnificent.
But
yes.
we saw the
you are. And let all of us see the magnificence in the man. Let's just see the magnificence, right? So we all join in that. Like, yes, you are. Yes, you are magnificent, right? Because when you see someone as magnificent, where is that happening?
In you.
Where is that happening? Say, yes, Sam, you are magnificent.
In me.
In me.
Yeah.
I am magnificent.
Yeah.
You are magnificent.
Yes. No, it's you who is magnificent. It's you.
Oh. I've let other people interfere with that, like I've been so worried about, they're going to get me for saying that I've had, like fear. Yeah.
Yes. Who else?
So I've cut myself down,
Kevin.
Oh.
Yeah, I am magnificent. I was just laughing when Sam said it wouldn't let him. It's like how easy it is to even make it like, Zoom won't even let me say it, Zoom won't. I can't be magnificent because my partner's giving me a hard time,
Right.
Hmm.
Yes. I just keep saying I'm magnificent, and no matter what other things, I am magnificent because I am as God created me. God created me perfect. God created me divine, exquisite. Like there is not one person like you anywhere, anywhere in the whole cosmos, not just this little earth. Anywhere in the cosmos, like you are unique creation of God.
Yes.
Take that in. Say,
Oh.
I am a unique creation of God. There's no one like me. I am the art. I am the walking art. Beautiful. Look at your face, Alison. You're like beaming right now.
I'm thinking, I am as God created me. It's becoming more and more true in my mind. I'm just receiving it more and more these days.
Beautiful. And then you give it. You see everyone as God created them. And actually, is that action of seeing everyone that way that takes you off the cross, right?
But there are still some that I do not want to see like that. It's so ridiculous.
Yes, just kiss those spots. Kiss it. Like, I see you. I see you, resistance. You know what you don't know. What are you trying to do? You little
There are some
resistance.
there are some people, and I know God says they're holy, but they don't deserve like that.
Yeah.
They're just
Yes.
too they're just
They
too
don't deserve, right?
guilty. They're just
You
too
always
guilty.
can be by myself, I crucify. Exactly.
Yeah. And
Hey, Kath, how you feeling
I
right
like
now?
that expression, getting your own back, because you are. You're getting
Yeah.
your own back.
Is it what?
That expression,
Going
getting
back,
your
yeah.
own back. It's an English expression.
I don't know that one.
Oh, so you say, oh, getting your own back, you're giving them what they deserve, but you're actually getting your own back.
Yeah.
So now pick someone on a screen and say, hey, you, you're magnificent.
Hey,
Go, Alison.
Dennis, you are
No,
magnificent.
no. Thank you.
Look at him. Yeah, fuck
I
yeah.
love you so much.
Ooh, I'm getting goosebumps.
Woo-hoo.
Uh,
Beautiful. Yes.
Oh, that's the giving and receiving as one, isn't it?
Yes. Bingo. Bingo.
Him.
And the more you give it, the more magnificent you give, the more you are living it. Your search for enlightenment, forget it. Just give that. You give. What you give, you have. There is nothing else. Actually, this book at the end says, at the end of it, what you give, you have. And what you resist giving, you choke on. Beautiful. Yeah. Kath, you're magnificent, darling. How you feeling, Kath, by the way?
Me.
Yeah.
A little bit lighter. I'm
Yeah,
Meg.
so we just changing the mind, basically, hey? Yeah. Hey, Anthony, what are you?
I am magnificent and a little bit
Yes, you
shitty.
are. Yes.
Yes, you are.
Yes, I am.
Really magnificent. You're magnificently
Cold.
shitty.
I'm magnificently shitty. Cold. You are magnificent.
Yes. Yes, I am. Beautiful, huh?
Mm.
Carolyn, you are magnificent.
Oh,
Mm.
And I'd like to read something in paragraph 2.8. right at the end, it says, it is only this one unaltered self that is the truth of who you are and who your brothers and sisters are as well. The magnificent. And
Is
this,
it?
yeah, it is this unaltered self is the
Right.
magnificent. And
That's it.
then this
Mm.
and it says, this is what is meant by oneness. This is what is meant by unity.
Wow.
That
How beautiful.
So it makes me think
Yeah.
about when I see, when I see my sister's husband. And
Yeah.
I'm not seeing him as
If you go up to
magnificent
her and
because
say, hey,
I'm not seeing his unaltered self. I'm looking at the wrong self there.
yes. You know what helped me a lot is there's a line at the beginning that says, every living being has a heart. Every living being has a heart. And it's like, it's not what people do, right? Like who they are heart. And they do crazy shit, but they still this. And just think of anyone that kind of feels a little bit like, oof, yeah, just anyone. Just know that that's just what they do, but that's not who they are, because they are magnificent. And that way it's too easy to see. Because if you see the heart in the other, and maybe you practice first on someone who is easy, and then suddenly you will see, because
Cool.
He's out of this world.
I lose the world from all I thought it was. All's gone again.
That's what Rupert Spira says, that we're here to see our own disappearance,
Mm.
to get back to our true self. We're here to just witness that disappearance of our ego.
Yeah. We've only got a little bit to go. Next paragraph's really big. Who'd like to do that? All
What
read.
about you, Carolyn? Would you like to have a read today?
She had the lawnmower going in the background. I'm not sure, but she asked me not to ask her today.
I can read.
Have a read now, Kev.
You can read now? Okay.
Just remind me, what number were we up to?
2.11.
2011. Okay. This memory lies within your heart and has the ability to turn the image you have made into a reflection of love that abides within holiness that is beyond your current ability to imagine.
wow, beautiful.
It is impossible for you to imagine this holiness with the concepts of the thought system.
Mm-hmm.
You heretofore have relied upon. This thought system has allowed only the acceptance of reality within the parameters, within certain parameters, for it has not allowed you to imagine being able to take steps back to God you believe. Sorry. For he has not allowed you to imagine being able to take steps back to the God you believe you have left in defiance, or the self you believe you have abandoned there. Be truthful to yourself now. and realize that what I speak of here is known to you. Realize that you know that it is not God who abandons you, but it is you who abandoned yourself and God. Give up your desire to think that if you did such a thing, there was reason for you to have done so. How many times have you asked yourself why you would have chosen separation if there had not been a reason for you to do so? Realize that a reason has been given here, and that this reason, while perfectly believable, is not one that includes the need to abandon yourself or God. Why should you be more inclined to believe that you left a paradise in order to live in the form that would cause you much suffering and strife for the whole reason of being separate from that which you long to return? The only alternative has seemed to be a belief in God that would banish you from paradise for your sins. We have worked thus far to change your idea of a revengeful God. Now we work to change your idea of a revengeful self. For what else would such a self be? Okay.
We're back to Kath, are we?
Well, anyone who wants to, it's only 2 paragraphs. Anyone who wants to volunteer. Sam was volunteering.
Okay. From 2.12, right?
Yes.
This is such an important point for you to grasp that I return you to our comparison of the family of men to the family of God, as well as to your discussion of the return of the prodigal sons and daughters of God. This discussion may have seemed to accept the idea of a self as highly developed as an adolescent child, a self who would willingly choose to explore independence, no matter what the cost. This discussion merely examines the reality you choose. Oops. This discussion merely examined the reality you choose to believe in, the reality of an ego self, a self-concept seemingly stuck in the adolescent phase of development. What do you say that word?
Adolescent.
Adolescent. The ego self's only desire was for you to grow up into its vision of an independent being, no matter what the cost. I think this is important. Huh? Let me read that again. The ego self only desire was for you to grow up into its version of an independent being, no matter what the cost. While you may be happily congratulating yourself on leaving such adolescent thinking behind, This thinking must be quickly replaced with a new idea about yourself, or its hold on you will remain.
Mm.
That's powerful.
Mm.
Yeah, it's interesting where the prodigal son ended up.
What's that?
Say that again.
It's what the prodigal son ended up when he was trying to grow up as the ego self wants him to grow up as independent.
Yeah.
So this is how we end up, you know. But I think the next chapter probably is talking about the true self. Now we want to grow up into the true self, not the ego self.
Something to look forward to. You can always cheat and go ahead.
So right now we're a bunch of adolescent teenagers
Yeah.
Exactly.
trying to figure it out.
Magnificent bunch of teenagers.
And a little bit shitty.
Yeah.
Magnificently shitty.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Thank you.
Mm.
Mm.
Thanks, everyone.
Mm.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
thanks everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Mhm.
Lovely to have you back, Anthony.
Mm.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I don't feel so shitty anymore, actually.
And Dennis.
No shittiness. Just magnificent.
magnificent. Yeah, exactly.
See you magnificent beings.
Yeah. Everybody.
Bye.
Tic
Bye,
tac toe.
darling.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye.
magnificent beings.
Love, peace, truth.
Bye.
Love, love, love. Mhm.